literally perpendicularly, girl, what? What's up guys, and welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, what are you doing? Go ahead, stop right now, hit that button. I know you're probably like, I don't even know you, girl, why would I subscribe to your channel? But you're not gonna regret it, so pause, just go ahead and take a second and hit this little button over here that says subscribe. If you guys are on this video, it's because you're interested in going to Tulum, and let me tell you, it is going to be the best decision that you make if you do decide to go. I just got back about 2 weeks ago now, and I totally wish I was still there. I absolutely loved my time. And if you guys are interested in seeing what my trip was like day to day, go ahead and click on that link in the description box, and it kind of just takes you throughout my days there. A little vlog for you guys that you guys get to see more of what Tulum is all about. With this video, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys my top 10 tips and little tricks that I learned while in Tulum that I feel like would be very beneficial to you. I did a lot of research ahead of time, and if you're on this video, you're obviously doing research as well, so good for you. I feel like that made this trip so much easier. This was the first trip that I honestly sat down and calculated everything and researched what I wanted to do and all that stuff, and the trip went so smoothly for the most part. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it with tip number 1. Making it happen on a budget. I feel like it's very important for a lot of people because when you travel, obviously it's gonna be expensive and you're trying to save your coins here and there where you can. I feel you, sis. So the most important thing that I will say is definitely don't have set dates, if that makes sense. I know some people cannot help it because of work or whatever, or if they're going there for a specific event, you can't help it. But definitely check online, play with the dates on Google, and it shows you how much it would be depending on what days you go and all that stuff. And it just helps you see what would be the cheapest dates to travel. I traveled from a Saturday to a Wednesday, and my flight was only $235. I booked about 3 weeks in advance, so it wasn't too expensive compared to other tickets that I saw there for an average price of like in the 300s, and some even as high as like almost $500. So that's one way to save money. 2 is where you're gonna stay. So I am gonna get kind of into that later as far as whether you stay on the beach side or on the town, but do your research. I'm personally more of an Airbnb type of girl, and then for Airbnb, I found that for my entire trip, 4 nights and 5 days, it cost me basically what it costs to stay at a hotel for 1 night at the beach. So basically that is definitely ways that you could save money. I know they also have hostels, I think they're called. I don't know, I've never stayed in a hostel, so I'm not too sure how that works, but they're also very cheap, basically at the same price as the Airbnb per night. The Airbnb was like $66 I think a night, and then with the cleaning fee and all that stuff, it came out to about $340. I want to say $380, something like that. I don't know. I just know if, let's say, you and another person are going and you're splitting that Airbnb, basically I paid $400, I want to say like $450 for this trip for a hotel and where I was staying. I will go more into beach versus Airbnb or hostels later on in this video, but if you're trying to save money, that's definitely something to look at. Also, another way to save money is definitely eat out in the town. There's definitely a lot more tourists on the beach area, so everything is higher prices. There was a taco spot that I went to in the town that basically had 50-cent tacos, like, bro. And I think we had a nice dinner, like where we had, you know, dessert, 2 meals, an appetizer, drinks, a beer for basically $32. So it's extremely cheap compared to the $100-something dinner that we had on the beach one night. And my final tip to save money is if you are staying in the town or even on the beach and you are not gonna get a rental car and you don't want to get a cab, definitely a good way to save money is bikes. Everybody there is riding bikes like all day long, whether you're in the town or on the beach area. And I'm really not too sure. It might take like 20 minutes to bike from the town to the beach if that's your commute that you're doing. So it's not nothing too crazy, but if it's really hot, I don't know if somebody might want to do that. But that's an easy way to save money because I know a lot of times the Airbnb or the hotel will provide bikes for use, and if not, they do have bike rental spots all over, whether it's in the town or the beach. And that kind of leads into tip number 2. So to get to Tulum, you'll be flying into Cancun, and now to get from Cancun to Tulum is about an hour and a half ride. And how are you gonna get there? So basically, you know, option one is the rental car, bus, and taxis. I'm speaking from research that I've done because we had a rental car the whole time there. So I'm gonna speak on that a little bit. So me and my boyfriend opted into getting a rental car because that's just how I am. I'm very independent and I like to just go wherever, whenever. Like, I don't want to wait on a taxi. I don't want to, you know, be flustered if I'm on a bike and then it starts raining, or if I'm hot, and I just want to be able to be in control of where I'm going at all times. So as soon as you get your bags and are exiting the Cancun airport, there's literally rental cars everywhere. Like, they're little offices, and they're like vultures, let me tell you. Now, what I will say is, don't be afraid or kind of like embarrassed to go from place to place and see the prices, because there's different prices at each one. We ended up going with hers because it was a lot cheaper. Now, we got a Jeep, so the rental car was a little bit on the more pricier side, but if you're looking for the more traditional, like, smaller rental car, it runs so cheap. I think it was like $85 for the entire trip. A rental car, I will say, is kind of necessary if you plan on going other places besides Tulum. For example, I will talk about Chichen Itza later, and that's 2 hours away. So you can, I think I read on a vlog that somebody had a cab take her there and take her back, and it was $160. That's basically what we paid for a rental car for the whole trip. So it's kind of like, why would you waste, you know, like, waste that money on just one trip, one day, when you could basically get a rental car for the entire trip. They have a bus called, it's either ADO or ADO, I don't know how it's pronounced, but basically it is very cheap, and I think they have multiple buses leaving and coming per day, and I don't know exactly how much it is. But it's one of the cheapest routes to get from Cancun to Tulum. I believe they drop you off just at like their bus station. I'm not too sure. Like, everything that I'm telling you guys besides the rental car is the stuff that I researched and I read about. So I'm not 100% sure how that would be. But basically, that's something that you might want to look into if you want to ride a bus. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure they'll have cabs too. I don't know how expensive they'll be. Now, if you're in Tulum, pretty much everything's, you could walk it. If you're staying in the town, obviously you could technically walk to the beach. It might just take a while. But if you're staying on the beach strip, you probably don't even need a car. You basically just need your bike, or you could walk everywhere. They also do have cabs. I'm not too sure what their prices are like, but they really can't be too expensive because nothing there was crazily priced. And also, if you're staying in the town, you could basically walk. There's plenty of restaurants and things to do and little shops that you could experience. So you could walk, you could bike, and you could cab. Those are the three main ways to transport yourself around in Tulum if you do not have a rental car. Moving on to tip number 3. Where should you stay on the town? Should you stay in the beach? Should you stay in Airbnb, hotel, hostel? So many options. So again, I don't know, I didn't really have a preference just because the beach and the town were so close to each other that either or would have been fine. And I knew I was gonna have a rental car. I did notice that there were no Airbnbs on the beach. It's literally just hotels and resorts and all of that stuff. Now, the Airbnbs are located more in the town. That's such a good experience. Like I said, the Airbnbs out there are super cheap. Like, some as cheap as $30 a night, some as expensive as $100 a night, but still overall very, very inexpensive. Basically decided to get the Airbnb instead of a hotel. Say like the lower ones that are nice to like my standard are like $200 to $300 a night, and some go as expensive as $800 a night. It just really wasn't worth it for me because, like I said in my first tip, we spent for the entire trip what we would have spent basically on 1 or 2 nights at a hotel. And finally, there is hostels, which I've never stayed at one, so I don't really know how they work and stuff. I just know they're usually very cheap, and they do have a couple in Tulum in the town area. I don't know if they have any at the beach, but I know I passed by some, and I also saw another vlog on here of a person that stayed at a hostel, and they really enjoyed it. It looked nice, I guess. and it was pretty cheap, so that is something that you might want to look at as well if you're interested. Also, another note that I want to add on this tip is just that if you are staying in the town but kind of want to experience what it would be like to stay on the beach hotels, a lot of the hotels on the beach will let you in, kind of hang out at their bars or restaurants, as long as you are basically either drinking there at the bar or eating at the restaurants. That kind of gives you like a ticket into the main like lobby area and out to their beach side of it, where you know they have a lot of swings and just really nice views that obviously you only get if you're staying there, but you know, for a certain price you're able to enjoy it as well. I know Azulik is one of the most popular ones. If you haven't heard of Azulik, definitely Google it. It's probably the most beautiful hotel ever. It's so like picture worthy everywhere. Like the whole hotel in general is picture worthy. It's like one big jungle fancy bougie hotel thing. I don't know how to explain it. It's just super amazing, but it is $800 a night starting out. You could kind of get a little taste of it by going to either the bar or the restaurant. I will say that the bar had a minimum of, I think, like $36 per person. It was like in the 30s. I don't remember exactly how much, but they had a spending limit of 30. So you kind of just prepay it at the beginning, and they give you like a little sheet of paper, and you give it to your bartender or your waitress, because they also have like a sitting area with food and stuff, and there, you know, you get $32 worth of tacos or drinks. It's just so beautiful just to sit there and relax and just overlook like this jungle-esque vibe that they had going on with all the trees and everything. And then a little bit further down is the beach and the ocean and just the sounds and everything and the smells of the ocean. It was just, I don't know, it was just magical. So I definitely recommend, if you are not going to be staying at a hotel, or even if you are staying at a hotel, go visit other hotels, go get drinks or food at other hotels and kind of visit what they got. Now on to tip number 4. I cannot stress this enough. Get places early. And I mean, I guess this really depends on what kind of person you are and what you're trying to accomplish and all that stuff. I personally like places to myself. And I know you guys are probably like, Paola, you do not own this world, especially not a tourist location where there's going to be a lot of people. But the less, the better. And this is why I stress get places early, like early, like when they open early. And having almost nobody around is extremely helpful if you want some bomb pictures. Damn, girl. With almost nobody in your background, because you guys are like the only ones there and there's somebody else in your background. So yeah, so you want to get there early, because most people are not going to be up early. You know, a lot of people, if they're on vacations, they're going out, staying out late, and they're not going to want to get up early. Or if they buy tourist packs, you know, they're not really in control of what time they get there. So I'm going to let you guys know the top places that I recommend getting there early for sure. Number 1, cenotes. Cenotes are basically like natural sinkholes that are filled with just this beautiful clear water, and they're just like natural swimming pools. It's the best way that I could describe it. Some are under caves, some are kind of open. So definitely the cenotes, you want to get there early so you really just enjoy the water and the peacefulness and just take it all in without a lot of people and noise and all that stuff. We got there as soon as it opened, so I think they opened at like 8 or 8:10. I don't know. Be there at 8 in the morning. And we weren't the only ones, but there was probably maybe like, I want to say 5 to 10 other people there max, and they were just kind of scattered, and everybody just kind of had their own little area to enjoy. So it was really nice. Another place that I would recommend getting to early is the ruins. The same reason, you know, they start getting crowded throughout the day. And the third place that I would recommend is any like photo worthy spot. I know you guys are gonna see a lot of pictures if you're doing research of hotspots that people actually put the location to. Whether it's a leaning palm tree, there are certain swings that are really popular. There's certain places at hotels that are very picture worthy. You also want to get there early so you get a good picture with, again, nobody in your background. This is something that I found because this is the first trip that I've ever in my life gotten up early every single day basically. is that we just had so much time to put in stuff. Like half of the day would be gone. We would be done like around 6 after we ate dinner, and we'd be like, what do we want to do? Like, I don't know. And I mean, you do get tired. I think we went to bed pretty early each day, like maybe 10, an average of 10 o'clock is when we went to bed. But we had the whole day to really enjoy it. And I feel like from now on, I'm going to be getting up early on all my vacations, because you could fit in so much stuff, especially if you're going for a short amount of days into that, and you just get to enjoy it while everybody else is still sleeping, you know? So it was just, I don't know, getting up early just made the trip so much better. Now on to tip number 5. Do your research. Pinterest and YouTube will be your BFF. So especially Pinterest, that's mainly where I found all of the locations and all the places that I want to go. There's so many blogs of people like listing specific locations, the names, the top food places, going out places, sightseeing, cenotes. Like, just really helps to make sure that you know all of what Tulum has to offer ahead of time, and that way you could kind of pick what you want and then make a schedule, which is what I did. I know some people are like, oh my god, a schedule on vacation? Ew, no. But trust me, like, this is something that I will be doing from now on my vacations or any trips that I go, is making a schedule, because I don't know, you just like spent all this money to travel somewhere. You don't want to waste the money by not seeing certain things or not making the most of your trip because you were just freeing it, eyeballing it every single day. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be a exact like, oh, at 7 o'clock we're waking up eating breakfast, at 8 o'clock we're on the road, by 9:30 we're arriving. Like, it doesn't have to be like a super strategic schedule. I just kind of listed everything that I wanted to do that day and kind of in the order that I wanted to do it. I didn't set a time like, oh, we're only gonna be at this place for 2 hours. No, however long we're at this place, and then we're gonna do here, and then whenever we get hungry we just stop and eat. Like, it wasn't too crazy, but that way I got to do everything that I wanted to do on the trip because I mapped it out by like the day. And also look at the weather, so you could kind of plan like, oh, if it's raining then I'm gonna do indoor activities for that day, obviously. But you know, so just kind of schedule it out, do your research. Now onto tip numero 6. See what I did there? Because this tip is about Spanish and I said the numbers. Wow, guys, I'm so funny. Go ahead, subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe. All right, guys, so this tip is about Spanish. Obviously, I'm Puerto Rican and I'm a fluent Spanish speaker. Spanish is my first language, and I could honestly say that it is not needed. A lot of people freak out when they're going to a foreign country where they don't speak the language. It could be scary. I mean, I'm guilty of only visiting countries that speak Spanish. It's because I'm too scared to like go somewhere where they know where I can't communicate with the people. I don't know, I'm like terrified. I will get over that soon because I will be going to other places that don't speak Spanish very soon, but that's just something that I've stuck to. I was like, let me just cross off all the places that I want to go that the native language is Spanish, so I'll be good. But it could be terrifying, trust me. I'm there, sis. I believe it. One thing I did notice is almost everybody there knew the basics in English where you could kind of communicate with them. If you're on the beach, basically they all speak English and you're good to go. You don't have to worry, or there's somebody around that could kind of help translate for you. And if you're staying in the town, it's basically the same. I will say it wouldn't hurt to know a couple things. It was funny because I would actually speak to them in Spanish and thinking it was going to be easier for them, and they would speak back to me in English. And I don't know if they were just practicing their English or if I just looked super American because of my blonde hair, and they were like, this gringa, what she know about Spanish? I don't know, but they just spoke back to me in English, most of them. So I think you'll be good to go in that department as long as you know some basics. Okay, now on to tip number 7. Now this is something that's gonna help you because I didn't see this in any blog. I didn't see this in any YouTube video. No airport person told me this, and I am tight. So when you get to Mexico, they're gonna give you a little immigration paper. It's beautiful. It has like the Mexican colors on one side and few questions, not hard at all. You know, just the typical immigration questions that they ask you. And do not throw this paper away. I don't know. I don't know if that's how it works in every country. Shorty just got her passport not too long ago, and the only place besides Mexico that I've been is the Dominican Republic, and I don't remember them needing my immigration form to fly back. I don't know. Anyways, keep the paper. Do not throw it away, because I threw it away literally as we were leaving to the airport. So we're at the Airbnb. I'm like cleaning out my purse of papers and stuff and trash, and I see this form, and I'm like, oh, I don't need this. Hey, babe, do you have that form yet? Let's go ahead and throw it away. It's such a good idea. No, do not do that, because we got to the airport and the lady, when we were checking in, she's like, yeah, so do you have your immigration forms? And I'm like, my what? She's like, yeah, it looks like this. And she held up the little paper that I just finished throwing away, and I'm like, no, nobody told me I had to keep this, so no, I do not have this paper. She's like, okay, well, you could go over there and pay $36 per person, like 36 or 32, I don't know. Wasted basically like $65, $70 that we did not need to if we would have just kept the paper, because you have to like refill it out and it charges you per person, and you have to, because you cannot get on the plane. Like when you're boarding your actual flight, they ask for your passport and the form. So yeah, this tip is very short but very important. All right, now on to tip number 8. I cannot stress this enough. Go to Chichen Itza. I know. It's 2 hours away. It's worth the drive, okay? It's to die for. If you don't have a rental car and are maybe thinking of just renting one for that day, they do have rental car stations in actual Tulum. So if you didn't get one in the airport, because like you said, you just wanted one for that day to do that trip, because it's cheaper than getting a taxi. But they also have like excursion trip packages that you could buy and I guess get on a bus and go there. But then that kind of defeats tip number, I don't know, the getting there early tip, because you're not in control of when you're gonna get there. And this is another place that you definitely want to get there when it opens. There's rental cars, there's the bus, there's the cab, there's ways to get there. I'm just saying, it was one of the most beautiful things that I've seen, and I want you guys to experience that as well. And it's one thing to see it in pictures, but once you're there, and it just takes you by awe. Like, and one thing that I will say, they only take pesos or debit credit cards, so just be mindful of that you do exchange money or have your card ready. I know they usually say that it charges like a certain like international fee if you use your card out internationally, but I don't really know what that fee is or how much it is, so we just decided to play it safe and just had pesos on us to spend there. And they just hiked up the prices, so when you're Googling it, because I know we Googled it to make sure that we were, you know, like taking enough money, a lot of the like answers to the question had the old price. They just literally doubled it. I'll try to look it up and put it here, but it's like 400 something pesos per person. Also, feel free to dress however you want to dress, if that makes sense. I know a lot of people are like, oh, wear sneakers, dress comfortably, blah 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 blah, but I had like this vision of me in a flowy dress in front of Chichen Itza, and I was like, I don't care what they say, I'm gonna wear this dress. And the whole ride there, I'm like, oh my god, I'm probably so stupid, I'm gonna be the only one dressed like this, and I'm in sandals, and I'm gonna be so uncomfortable, and what if it's just a miserable time because I'm wearing this dress and blah blah blah. I just like overthought it the whole car ride, the whole 2 hours there. But I got there and I'm like, it's not even that serious. Like, you're not climbing anything, the ground is even, so it's not really like any point to like have to wear sneakers or like a comfortable clothes. I was perfectly fine in the dress. If anything, it was cool because the wind was blowing and I just had a breeze flowing in the right direction, you know what I'm saying. We were there probably for like an hour and a half, 2 hours walking around, and my feet were fine in just some regular schmegler Forever 21 sandals. So I don't know, but whatever you do, make that drive out to Chichen Itza. And then another like bonus to going to Chichen Itza is visiting the Suytun Cenote. I'm pretty sure Suytun. I don't know, I'm probably messing it up. I'll put the name here. And that by far was probably my favorite cenote. It was just like top 5 most beautiful things that I've seen in my life. And the great part about it is that it's literally halfway from Tulum to Chichen Itza. I'm telling you guys this because I wish I would have known about that cenote and like I could kill two birds with one stone, because I would have brought a bathing suit. I didn't bring a bathing suit, so I didn't really get to enjoy it to its fullest potential. But still, if you don't bring a bathing suit, definitely stop and go visit the cenote. All right, now tip number 9. Ugh, my finger is like struggling so hard to stay up. So, I am not gonna stress this enough. I'll talk about the actual Pesos situation in a second, but first I want to talk about carrying only the important things and keeping everything else. If your Airbnb, ours had a safe, so if it has a safe or anything like that, that you could just safely keep your things in your hotel or Airbnb, do that. So on like the 3rd day of us being there, I lost / got my wallet stolen. I technically lost it because I dropped it, but nobody told them to pick it up, so it got stolen. No, I'm still so butthurt, but I am so grateful because I'm not gonna say I only, because $400 some is not only losing that. I only had in my wallet my ID and like cash money. I luckily took out all my debit cards. Anything important, my passport definitely was staying, not that it fit in my little wallet, but anything important we kept in the Airbnb in the safe. And I am so grateful because that, although I am highly upset that there was like $400 some in that wallet and somebody just got that much richer, I'm glad that I just lost the money and I didn't have to go through the process of getting new debit cards or nothing like that. Or if I would have had a purse big enough that my passport could have fit in it, then how the hell was I getting back in the country, Hello, talk about nightmare. And hopefully this is not something common that will happen to everybody, but I think like this is just good practice whenever you're on vacation anywhere. It doesn't have to just be Tulum. Just carry what's essential and what you need. And another lesson that I learned that trip is that I am not going to carry all of my money in my wallet. I could keep some of it in the car and just carry a good amount of what I'm going to need for the day in my wallet. So, lesson learned. Now, as far as pesos, definitely, a lot of places, I'm not going to say a lot of places, every place that we went to took American dollars besides Chichen Itza. And they kind of do the converting for you. I feel like the safest bet would be to carry pesos. You could carry dollars, like I said, they'll accept it, but it's just more convenient and easier to just go ahead and pay in pesos. For credit and debit cards, I know that they do charge a international fee. It's nothing too crazy. I don't know if it depends from like bank to bank or if there's just like one actual rate. But I didn't use my card at all. My boyfriend used his card for the rental car only, and I know he got charged an international fee for that. I really want to say it was like $10 also. Like it wasn't nothing crazy, but I think you get charged every single time you swipe your card. So, that could add up. And I don't know, I just heard some sketchy stories also about using like the card out there. So I just really wouldn't just like risk it. There are stations to exchange money at Cancun at the airport, and even close to the airport and down in Tulum, they have a couple of places to exchange money. So you don't have to exchange all of your American dollars all at once. You could come back as you kind of need more, or if you get to the end of the trip and you have a lot left over, they do change it back to American dollars. So that's just something to keep in mind. Carry around pesos. Now onto my final tip. Tip number 10. This is not really a tip, I guess. It's just, I'm gonna list for you guys all of the places that I really enjoyed going to while I was there and that I recommend. So I'm gonna go ahead and list them on the screen. Alright guys, never mind, I totally lied. I'm gonna just go ahead and put it in the description bar below. So if you're interested in finding out my favorite spots in Tulum that I recommend, open it up and check it out. Alright guys, so that concludes all of the little tips that I had for you guys. Hopefully that was helpful in some way or shape. If you have any questions that weren't answered in this video, go ahead and comment below. Let me know. I will try to answer to the best of my abilities. If you are like strongly thinking about traveling to Tulum, definitely pull the trigger. do it. You won't regret it. I had such an amazing time. If you guys like this video as well as my travel vlog that is linked down below in the description box, let me know and I will make more of these on my trips that are coming up. And as always guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.